fellow YouTubers, I'm Cassandra Joy, and welcome to Vlogmas Day 14. I just woke up. I set an alarm for 6 a.m. on a Sunday just so I could finish editing yesterday's vlog. I was literally nodding off trying to get it done and it just wasn't gonna happen. So I've woken up early to see if I can finish it. I don't have many words to speak to you right now, but I'm gonna fix a coffee, just put my head down and get to work, and then hopefully when I pick up the camera next, I'll be more awake and more talkative. Let's do a tidy my loft with me day, because between work, life, and Vlogmas, my loft feels like it's about to walk away. And there's only so much of that I can put up with. I can put up with a mess for a while, but eventually it all comes to a head and I'm like, all right, I need to clean. And you know things be desperate if I'm voluntarily suggesting to clean. I'm gonna be honest, today is the first day that I haven't felt like vlogging. I had ideas. I have a whole list on my phone of things that I want to film and could film, but day 14, I don't know. It's starting to get hard. I think the lack of sleep is starting to catch up with me because I'm staying up late every night. This is a lot to do when you have a full-time job. Just being honest, you're getting the day-to-day, and today was not easy. But it's getting later in the evening and I'm hungry, so let's make some dinner and clean up my loft together. I'm making dinner right now. I'm making some pasta out of chickpea noodles and some chicken tenders in butter and tallow. Apparently tallow is what McDonald's used to use for their French fries before they started using bad for you oils, which is why it tasted so much better back in the day. So I decided to buy myself some beef tallow from our local grocer's Heron's Market. Will say though, it's expensive. It is not a cheap ingredient, but all the best things for you tend to be that way. I like cooking all of my chicken at once. Just makes it easier. Oops. I'm just mixing some butter and some tallow over and under the chicken and let that cook. And then over here I've just got some spaghetti noodles made of chickpeas boiling away. I spent some of the afternoon tidying. I did not get done, as you can probably see dirty dishes behind me. That's always the chore I save for last. It's very common for people with ADD. I didn't know that. I thought that it was just me somehow being broken, but apparently this is a real thing. Dishes are the bane of people with ADD's existence. And there's really no way to make dishes fun. I've tried. I turn on music, I'll watch a show, you know, on my laptop or something, but I think I'm gonna have to. So what I might do after I finish dinner is put you on a time lapse and we can do my kitchen together, because that seems to be the only way I get anything done is if I film it. I feel like I am really successful in a lot of ways. My brain is exceptional in a lot of ways, but there are definitely a few things that I wish I was better at, that I wish came naturally to me. We're not gonna let it win today. We're gonna tackle what we can tackle. I feel like the dishes, or at least some of them, are a good place to start. Let me finish cooking and then we'll get to that. These are all the dishes I just washed. As you can see, they are towering. So tall, they're almost hitting my shelf. I have a little bit left to do, but we're gonna ignore that because I have no more room on the drying rack. But let's look at this. Look how nice and tidy this looks. Oh, this feels so good. This feels like scrubbing a part of my brain that has been bothering me forever. Oh, hope you don't mind. I'm gonna pull my hair up because I am warm. Makes me look like a bit of an egg, but at this point of the evening, I don't really care. Oh, I feel so proud of this. I feel so proud of that. I don't often talk about how cleaning and housework is hard for me because one, I don't think a lot of people can relate to that, and two, I think people are just better at it than me and more natural at it than me, says the firstborn type A Enneagram 3 perfectionist. Maybe I'm alone in feeling this, but I think there's so much pressure to have it all together. There's so much pressure to have a successful career, to have great relationships, to have a perfect put together home. And the honest truth is that there's no time to do all of it. I think you either have time to do one or the other when you're alone. If you have a partner, that dynamic completely changes. Work together, or you can trade off, or you can tackle a single project as a team. When it's just you, all of that responsibility is just yours to balance, to keep on top of, to make time for all of it. It feels so good to have that done. And hopefully this ramble is in some way helpful, at the very least motivating or helping you not feel alone if you also struggle like I do to keep on top of your home.
You need to see this. Good job. It's alright.
Somebody once told me that some of the greatest songs were written under an hour. Maybe that'd be the best shot.
First, what's the message?
Always follow the light.
So I've been using this espresso machine every day since I bought it. Oh, that's full now. Anyway, I've been using this every day since I bought it, and I've gotta say, it is incredible. 100% worth the investment. Definitely a money saver in the long run. I absolutely love it. I've been able to learn how to concoct my own coffee to make it taste like it came from a coffee shop. And because I get decaf, I can have it any time of day, which is wonderful. So I'm gonna throw these away while this brews. The only issue is that I've learned to make it with eggnog, and I'm not gonna have access to ready-made eggnog after Christmas. So I'm gonna try to leave out the eggnog, just use my milk and my sugar-free gingerbread syrup, see how that tastes. I tried just milk one time. It did not taste good. Okay, taste test. It's not bad. It's not the same. As a reward for all of my hard work cleaning the kitchen, I let myself go downstairs and watch the second half of a Hallmark movie that was playing. And the main girl in the movie it was driving me nuts because she looked so familiar. I could not place her face. At first I thought she was someone from the Cheetah Girls, if anybody remembers that. And I thought, no, that's not it. And then it clicked. I'm 99% sure she was the girl in Spy Kids. Anybody remember that movie? Carmen, and she had a billion middle names. I used to have them all memorized. Cortez, Carmen Cortez. If it's her, she's all grown up now. But the cutest part about it was that her co-star was her in real life husband. They apparently get paired up quite a lot in movies because they have such good natural chemistry. Wonder why. I loved it. There was this whole singing thing where they were both singers, and it was super cute to watch. I really enjoyed it. Oh, I didn't do a question. Okay, this person asked, if you resonate with a Bible character, which is it? I love hearing what others answer on this. I gave this question a good long thought, because at first I couldn't think of anyone. First I thought through all the women in the Bible, and I feel like I am not like any of them, good or bad. I think if I'm being honest, my answer would have to be Thomas. And if anybody doesn't know who that is, Jesus had 12 disciples, 12 followers. I won't recite them all, but one of them's name was Thomas. Now Thomas, poor guy, has gone down in history for one flaw, one bad day after Jesus was killed, put in a tomb. 3 days later, he rose again. Mary, not to be confused with Mary, mother of Jesus, but Mary, the follower of Jesus. Mary Magdalene, right? Yeah. She saw Jesus after he rose again. So she, excited, tells everyone else in the fellowship. That sounds very Lord of the Rings. And Thomas was the one who was doubting whether or not it was true. And I feel so bad for him, because how rotten would it be for your one bad day, your one day where you fell short, to be recorded for the rest of time, for everyone to associate your name with doubt. Doubting Thomas is his nickname, and that was a name I was taught when I was a child in Sunday school. That was his name, Doubting Thomas. But if I'm being honest, Thomas is who I relate to the most. I struggle with that a lot. God and I have a lot of conversations. A lot of I don't understand, a lot of why, a lot of where are you in this? I don't agree that doubt means that you're a failure or that you're a bad believer. I think doubt is normal, and I think God expects it from our humanness. Now, I'm not saying you should throw a temper tantrum like I tend to do when I talk to him, like, why is this happening? I don't understand, I don't agree. What are you doing? That tends to be some of my less than eloquent moments. But sometimes I'm just like, I trust you. I trust you have this figured out, and in ways I can't see right now. But where are you in this? What are you planning? And I gotta tell you, he always gives me an answer. And never in the way I would expect. What I would love is an audible answer. A voice from beyond saying, hey, this is why. Let me answer you. At the least, I would love a great neon sign, an arrow-shaped neon sign pointing me in the right direction. And if you're not gonna talk to me verbally, just point me in the right direction and we're fine. To my knowledge, that is not how God works. What God tends to do with me isn't an audible voice, but it's sometimes a Bible verse that is brought to mind that I forgot I had memorized. Sometimes it's a worship song that I heard on Instagram, heard like this one portion, this one little snippet, and the words perfectly answer my question. That happened the other day. Something didn't go to plan, and I was really bummed about it. And I just asked out loud in my bedroom alone, God, I trust you, but where are you in this? Why didn't you allow this thing I wanted to happen? And he didn't talk to me in a voice that I could hear. He brought a song to my mind, a song that I hadn't realized I knew. I don't think I've ever sang that song out loud before, and that song popped in my head, which is very interesting. And it's a song I hadn't memorized, don't ever sing, not for any reason, just not one of my go-tos. And if I'm remembering right, the song, the chorus went, all my life you have been faithful, all my life you have been so, so good. You're strong when I'm not able. Oh, I believe in the goodness of God. Totally forgot I knew that song. Not one of my go-tos, not one I hear often ever. Almost as soon as I was done answering that question, that song popped in my head. God is so good and so cool. I doubt God all the time, specifically in regards to my future and the plan he has. And that's very normal. I think there's a lot of grace there, a lot of understanding, a lot of patience from God on that front. That might not be the answer most people thought I'd say, that I'm most like Thomas, who doubted. Poor guy. That name went down in infamy, didn't it? I think uncertainty isn't a bad thing, as long as it's followed up with, I don't understand, it's not how I would do it, but God, I trust you anyway. And that's a hard thing to say, and I'm not always good at saying it. But every time I say it, God always comes through. Usually in ways I would never have planned or thought of. I pride myself in being a storyteller, a good one, which is why I think God and I butt heads a lot. Because I know how I would write my story, and he doesn't write it the way I would write it. There's very few times where God gives me an answer to that why. At least not immediately. Sometimes years later I'll understand. But in that moment of me just needing some kind of reply, some kind of comfort, some kind of something, he always answers. He always answers. The reply I usually get, whether it's through a feeling, a song reminder, a Bible verse brought back to mind, is that, kid, I know you're struggling. I know this is hard. I know it's hard for you to trust. I know you think you need answers, and I know you don't understand yet, but just know I hear you. Every time you talk to me, I hear you. I'm always listening, and I've only got your best interest in mind. I may not write your story the way you would write your story, but that's okay, because my story's always better. Which, you know, I think he has a right to say, because he did sort of create everything. As far as design goes, he's pretty much the expert. If he can create a galaxy of stars, if he can create a planet to be positioned just perfectly between the moon and the sun so that we don't freeze and we don't go out of orbit, how much more should I trust him with my life? Oh goodness, I didn't expect to cry. I thought that was gonna be an easy question. Nice and short, easy peasy. No, thanks for that. You know who you are who asked the question. Ah, goodness gracious. Well, I think I should probably just stop. This will have been the second time I cry during Vlogmas. 2 very different reasons. I think this will be a good spot to leave the vlog. To anybody watching who doesn't have a relationship with God like I do, that's okay. I understand if this doesn't make sense. I'm not the best at answering questions, but if you have any, I'm more than happy to do my best to answer. Just keep in mind that I am an imperfect human who does mess up and probably won't answer as well as some Bible scholar out there would. All I can say is I couldn't do life without God. Couldn't go through the highs or the lows without him to lean on. I don't know how people do it. Anytime a storm hits, God's my anchor. I could not survive life storms alone. I'm not the best at explaining God things, but I'm more than happy to try if you have any questions. If you're not comfortable leaving a comment, you're more than welcome to direct message me on Instagram. My handle is CassJoyOfficial. Would love to have a chat. And with that, I'm gonna leave the vlog here. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me today, and I will see you tomorrow. Love you guys. Mwah. Bye.